Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Online Warriors podcast, and it's turkey time. Well, it's Thanksgiving. Wow, that was haunting. You want to do that a little louder so that everyone hears it? Okay.
That's all I got. I don't have a good one.
Yeah, it's very subdued. It's like a turkey mutter almost. Well, first of all, welcome to the Online Warriors podcast. I am Illeagle 86, one of your three hosts. My turkey lady over there, Nerdbomber. Do you mind if I call you a turkey lady?
Go for it.
Like in the future.
Tis the season.
Giblets.
And my giblet boy over there, Techtic. We're all here. We're all sitting. Just picture us sitting around a grand, magnificent, dressed Thanksgiving table. Techtic's holding a giant drumstick, and I have a bowl of stuffing to myself because stuffing is the only reason why this holiday exists to me. I don't look. That's cynical. It's family. Family is the reason. But oh my gosh, stuffing. Like, it's the best. Is it not the best Thanksgiving
I'm
component?
just kind of lukewarm on stuffing. There, I said it. It's just okay.
What happened to you? Who hurt you?
It's just a bunch of bread and stuff that's made moist and all mushed together. It's just
no
fine.
matter like whose stuffing you have, no two people have the same stuffing, and that's what's magical about it.
I would say that's not magical. I want to expect, like, if I'm looking forward to a food, I want to expect a certain level of food, and everybody's stuffing is different. So then it's
like
just
I finally diced mushrooms and put it in my stuffing.
You do.
If you were to ask me, like, hey, Illeagle, what's the one food you want to, like, jump off a diving board and just belly flop with your mouth open into? It's probably stuffing for me.
Really?
Would it be my stuffing
Oh,
with mushrooms in it, or are you anti-mushroom?
I didn't. First of all, I'm anti-mushroom. Second of all, I did not know that you. I feel like stuffing. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but it also seems like a culinary accomplishment, which is maybe one of the reasons I like and respect it so much. My mom makes the stuffing. I've never made stuffing in my life, unless you count like stovetop, which I feel like you shouldn't. So that's cool, man. I've heard oysters. I've heard that can go into stuffing sometimes. That seems weird to me.
Yeah, that doesn't fly in my house.
But like that's the
I'm not in
beauty of
favor of that.
stuffing. Like we've just rattled off 3 different types of stuffing, and it's just a food that everyone just makes their own.
But then that's not like, there's no consistency. I don't like that.
I mean, people cook turkeys very differently across the board too. So
best.
Honestly, okay, I'm coming in with a really bad Thanksgiving hot takes. Turkey's not good either. Bam.
No, that's a cold take. I think turkey, in terms of holiday meats, I think turkey is very low on the turkey. The thing about turkey is that it's almost always I'm eating it and I'm like, the reason you have stuffing and gravy is just turkey's just dry. It's just
that's why don't even mess with the
is.
white meat. Honestly, folks, stick with the red meat.
Well, I don't know. Ham is ham red meat? No, red meat's like beef. Ham is the superior holiday meat to me.
Ham is fantastic, but some people don't
good.
like ham either.
Some people threw up on ham and got the flu shortly thereafter eating ham.
Like you threw up from eating ham, or you threw up on a ham?
No, like I was eating ham and then got the stomach flu and threw it all up, but it was like partially digested, so it was like ham taste in my vomit as I was vomiting, and now I can't. I can have
I haven't been there with ham, but I've been there.
Cold cut ham. Like if I'm having a ham sub, totally fine. If you give me like a ham steak though, because like a ham, like deli ham and a ham steak don't taste the same. So it's the specific ham steak.
Ham steak, I've never heard that term, but I can imagine what you mean. It's, I just want to go back to stuffing for a second. When you're at Thanksgiving and you get the stuffing and you put your spoon in it and you put it on your plate and you kind of like, you don't slam the spoon down, but it's a physics problem. You have to get the stuffing off the spoon and onto your plate, and it kind of hits the plate with like this, like it just makes this noise.
The classic cafeteria sloppy Joe meat. That's
exactly.
Slap.
Like, how is that appealing?
It's so, oh my gosh.
Like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate stuffing, but it's not the thing that I'm looking forward to.
It's the same satisfaction of stirring like the mashed potatoes with that.
We should have made the secret segment this month just Thanksgiving ASMR of just like Thanksgiving food noises. Well, if the
live turkey is included in the ASMR, this is going to get dark fast.
Like the dark meat. I have no opinion on turkey. It's good. It's good. It's there. I don't know. It makes me sleepy. Everyone knows that. That's not really an interesting thing to say at this point. Everybody knows that turkey makes you sleepy. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Cheers. And happy Black Friday to All you lunatics out there.
Go get your deals.
Go get those deals.
Or just stay home like a person who enjoys their family.
I've been told that the deals are less good this year. Did you add that to the soundboard in the last couple of minutes?
No.
Or was that you again?
That was me. That was 100% me. I was just practicing.
I don't think that's not accurate. I've heard the deals aren't very good this year. We're not going to talk about that today, but I've heard through the grapevine, that is the internet, that sales are not down. Sales are up, if anything, but like the existence of sales for consumers is down because of supply chains. So I don't know, plan accordingly. Hawkeye comes out on Thanksgiving. 8-Bit Christmas comes out on Thanksgiving. There's a lot to watch. So maybe just, get all snuggled up with a person or a pet or just a large pillow and do some watching of things like a true American would. Today, we're talking about Spider-Man. Probably the last time we're going to be talking about Spider-Man before it comes out. So there's a bit of a milestone to be had there. We're going to be talking about WB's MultiVersus, and if you don't know what that means, and if I may have said it weird, MultiVersus, I don't know how you want me to say it. MultiVersus just makes it sound like I'm talking about multiverses, which is not what it is, but we'll get to that later. And then our third topic, we're going to be talking about Halo, but not Infinite, because I think Infinite just came out, but we're actually talking about the TV show, which got a little teaser. I think we should lead off with Spider-Man. There's a lot going on in this trailer that we're going to get into, not in a frame-by-frame sense, but in a more kind of diagnostic sense. But before we do, I want to take a wide angle at it and just rant for a second, if you would permit me.
I'll allow it.
It's what the trailer comes out. What is everybody talking about? What is everyone dissecting the footage looking for?
All three Spideys.
Andrew Garfield and my guy Toby.
And I mean, they found it.
Well, okay, yeah, they found it, certainly. Yeah, and in the Brazilian cut, I guess.
And if you haven't seen the Brazilian cut, check out the Brazilian cut. Check
out the Brazilian cut. There's literally, you can see the lizard getting punched by an invisible person. That's it. Presumably Andrew Garfield. But the bone I have to pick here is, we all know, who are they hiding it from at this point? First of all, A, we all know it's going to happen. And B, and the main point I want to make, I'm not sure, their goal with these trailers and these sneak peeks is to build hype for this movie, right? First of all, you don't need to do that. It's Spider-Man. And second of all, I'm not 100% sure that revealing that Andrew Garfield and Toby are in the movie would not build more hype.
See, but that's the thing. Everybody then spent an hour, 2 hours dissecting the trailer. If they revealed Toby and Andrew Garfield in the trailer, you wouldn't get that kind of post talk. People would just start discussing it and move on. But now you're racking up the views on that YouTube video, which is just ad money.
I suppose.
I don't know.
I
don't think they really care about it.
No, it's definitely not that. But I mean, they definitely, because people are dissecting it, you're not handing it to them on a platter. I mean, you do. There's more buzz and word of mouth. And, oh, what do you think? Do you think this is just like a weird editing cut? Or do you think this is actually it? You get all that kind of stuff. Whereas if they were just in the trailer, that would be it. You'd have a day or two of buzz, people being like, look, I told you so.
I disagree.
And then it would die down.
I disagree. First of all, I think these fans, I think you make a reasonable point. Perhaps, building hype is not the main goal here. The goal is building buzz, which is a different thing, which is getting people to talk about the trailer for days. I get that. This is a community of fans who, no matter what is in this trailer, they're going to talk about it for at least a week. If Andrew Garfield's in it and he's wearing a hat that says something on it, it'll be the topic of discussion. It's not the fact that they're not in it, but we all know they're actually going to be in the movie. I think if anything, that generates weak buzz because everybody knows. I don't need to dissect the trailer and watch it.
Well, and even if not for the croc scene, the scene where she was falling, everyone was like, "Oh, and Andrew Garfield called her." That was 100% reminiscent of his movie with Gwen Stacy.
Right.
I think they're going for that big
foolish
moment. And if you reveal that big moment, so remember back in Endgame, was it Endgame or was it the movie before? Whichever one where the snap happened, or even the reverse snap.
Yeah,
any of the snaps.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Infinity War. Yeah.
in either of the movies where there was a snap, it wasn't even so much that we didn't anticipate that coming. I mean, in the first snap, yeah, nobody saw that coming. The second one, it was like, well, they have to fix this somehow. But that moment was so powerful in the theater around so many people. And I think that's what they're going for. If you give that away in the trailer, you're not going to have that community moment in the movie theater when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire show up on the screen and everybody collectively gasps. Like, you're just not going to get that. So I understand it from like an artistic standpoint. Marvel movies as a whole, I mean, obviously the last couple years notwithstanding, have for the most part been a very collective experience. And part of the reason why they're so popular is because it's a very collective experience. So I think even if you know it's coming, being able to have that moment in a theater, if you can, is what they want.
And honestly, that's not even the big reveal.
Well, okay, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so that's a very good point, I think. You know, the collective experience, like I still, to this day, look up videos of other people watching Endgame when Captain America lifts the hammer, just to hear people's reaction is cool. Like, it's a collective experience, and that is probably what they're going for. I guess what I'm trying to do on the behalf of the poor CGI person who had to airbrush Andrew Garfield out of this thing and spend hours of his life doing that when everybody knows he's going to be in it. Before this trailer came out, everybody knew. It's like, what are we? It's a weird charade that I don't know. I get your point, and it's a point that's well and fairly made. it seems a little silly to me. So it seems like a lot of money to just, I don't want to say waste, but like it's a little bit of a waste to me. But so Techtic, the big reveal, I guess. Well, I'm gonna guess what you think the big reveal is. To me, the big reveal in this trailer is that, I don't know, it seems like Doctor Strange is trying to kill him. Is that what we're seeing here?
No, he's trying to prevent him from changing the timeline, is what I would guess, simply because the whole premise is surrounded by all of these villains that came here are villains that allegedly were killed by the hands of Spider-Man, right? And so if that's the case, you know, he's like, I can't kill, I don't want this to be a thing. And so he's trying to alter that fate because good or bad, a person doesn't deserve to die. And so that's why I think he's just trying to stop him from creating alternate timelines. What I think the big reveal is that exact thing. All of these people that we're introduced to are people that have died. Folks,
Electro didn't die.
Well, that's what's being said as far as Green Goblin goes. Okay?
Well, no, Electro didn't die.
I know, neither did Sandman. But that's what's being said in the trailer. So we're being shown that it's possible to be reintroduced to characters that have since passed. Okay? Right. That said, I think we're going to get a Spider-Girl. Gwen Stacy's coming back. That's what I think the big reveal is going to be.
You think Emma Stone's going to be in this thing?
I do.
That's not bad. That's, as takes go, that's pretty good. Did I misread it? What Doctor Strange is saying in the trailer, I'm sorry, kid, yada, 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 it really sounds to me like he's trying to kill him. I don't know.
Maybe it sounds to me like he's trying to stop him, who's trying to save the villains that had died by the hands of Spider-Man.
He's definitely trying to find a way, because you can tell even when he's like, oh, like there has to be another way because Doctor Strange says all of these villains die at the hand of Spider-Man, and he's like, oh no, there has to be another way. So he's trying to save those people, even though they're villains.
Doctor Strange is trying to kill them, and Spider-Man's trying to save them.
Well, no,
Doctor Strange is trying to maintain.
Wow, jinx. Yeah, he's trying to preserve the timeline and not interfere, basically. He just wants to send them back and let them be killed, whereas Tom Holland, Spider-Man, is like, no, I want to be a good guy and save everyone, even if they're villains.
Oh, no.
I thought he was trying to kill Spider-Man. I totally miss. This is embarrassing for me as a pop culture podcaster. Okay, well, with that in mind, I mean, look, we're all going to watch this movie. Like, it almost feels silly that there's even a trailer at this point. It's like, just show up. And again, the point is build buzz. Spider-Man No Way Home comes out December 17th, 2021. Boy, that Spider-Girl thing, I think
Solid
you may have
theory,
something there.
right?
I think you may have something there. I think Emma Stone is probably game for that. But is she, like, okay, so how do you see this ending then? Do you think they all die? Do you think Doctor Strange kills all of them?
I think obviously they can't move forward in the MCU as we know it with everybody existing and having multiple Spider-Men in the same universe and all their villains. So I think they're all going to get sent back to the original timelines. Plus, I honestly can't see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire signing on for more than one movie. I just honestly can't.
Oh, no, that's not what's going to happen. Let me hold on. Theory.
I think they're going to send them all back, and then the slate's going to be wiped clean, and no one will know that he's Spider-Man because the spell will have worked once they send them all back to their original timescapes, and then things will go back to the way they were before Jake Gyllenhaal came in and messed everything up.
My guy Jake. Okay, Techtic, say your thing, and then I have another thing to say.
So I think the way it's going to end is it's going to be them forcibly carrying the villains and the Spider-Men forcibly carrying their villain into their dimension. Okay, so there has to be some physical movement for this to go back to the way things were. And that's all going to happen. The conflict's going to get resolved. And then the last 5 minutes or so, it's going to show Gwen Stacy in an alley, scratching her head or what the heck happened? And that's it.
So I'm sorry. I feel like a grandfather right now. I'm having a hard time wrapping. Let's take Doc Ock for a second. Dr. Octavius. Is the implication, so I saw Spider-Man 2, I've seen it many times. Is the implication that sometime during the events of Spider-Man 2, after he became Doc Ock and before he died, he zoomed over to the Tom Holland timeline? Or is the implication that timeline is not what actually happened in Spider-Man 2, which is a different timeline in which he exists?
Right. I'm guessing because, they kind of addressed this during Loki, how you can have different timeline splits when timeline altering events happen and spells happen. So I think this is just going to be a separate timeline where Tom Holland's Spider-Man basically mucks everything up and throws a wrench in it. And I think it'll all kind of get explained back away with all of the events that transpired in Loki.
Because I guarantee you, and I totally agree with you, and I guarantee you that, say what you will about Toby and Andrew, but Alfred Molina is not sticking around for more than one movie. There's just no way. It's not in the cards. I'm interested. I was before. Again, I was before in seeing this. I'm certainly going to see it now. I actually just rewatched the Jake Gyllenhaal one over the weekend to prepare myself. And I'm still good. I don't know.
Were you also listening to Taylor Swift's album?
Okay. I'm so glad you brought this up. Did you guys know? First of all, everyone on the podcast, or everyone listening to the podcast, should know that I'm a Jakey G stan. Okay. So not a good time for me to be a person, basically. Do you know how long they dated for?
It was 3 months.
3 months. And she's writing this freaking 10-minute, I don't know.
Okay, so
apart. They dated 3 months.
Okay,
give me a break.
Okay.
Sorry.
You need to. Okay, so this album was actually written 10 years ago, and it was re-released because Taylor Swift is trying to get control of her music back and get copyright ownership.
Yeah.
And so the 10-minute version was something that she had written back in the day, and it was something that her fans, in an interview when the album came out initially, a decade ago, she had dropped that. She had written a 10-minute version that didn't make the cut. So it got resurrected because in all of her re-releases of albums, she goes back and has from the vault tracks where she picks songs that got scrapped for whatever reason and adds them back in. So this happened.
I understand. So I understand, but it's just still, it seems kind of wild to me that they dated for 3 months. And I guess it's less wild that she wrote the song, but way more wild that people are okay, he dated her for 3 months and I don't know, I guess ruined her life.
Well, I think
so we hate him forever. I don't know. I don't want to defend Jake Gyllenhaal. He probably is not the best person to date, especially since he doesn't shower or whatever he said a couple months ago. But man, I thought the song makes it seem like my understanding was, they dated for at least a year.
No, so I mean, if you dig into the song, a lot of it is...
I'd rather not. I'm glad you did. I have no interest in that.
I grew up listening to Taylor Swift, so here I am listening to re-releases.
You're a Swiftie. It's fine.
But I mean, I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie. It's just now it's a cultural zeitgeist. She was everywhere the last couple of weeks, so I couldn't escape it. But
look, I watched the short film. I had to. I'm a human being on this earth. It's not my choice.
So some of the new verses that were released in the 10-minute track, they are he basically told her music sucked, made it about their age, and then went on to date more 20 something-year-olds when he was like is 40. He is currently still like, I get it.
Yeah.
I would be if you're fresh out of a relationship and then a few months later you see him turn around and date someone else when he told you that it was the age difference, like I'd be pissed.
It's kind of ironic, the gaslighting, because he was Mysterio. Because it's
not defending not defending Jake Gyllenhaal. It just kind of blew my mind when I found out that they had dated for that short amount of time. Because I guess just all the posturing of it makes it seem like they were a big deal for a while. And me not knowing, like me being so removed from the Taylorverse, that was something for me to find out. But that's extraneous to the point here. Spider-Man No Way Home comes out December 17th, 2021. Jake Gyllenhaal will probably not be in it. But I mean, I'm going to go see it.
Let me know if you think my theory is correct.
We're going to know in a few weeks. Yeah, hit us up on Twitter at OW Techtic, because he's the theory holder. At OW Illeagle86, at OW Nerdbomber, and our main account at Online Warriors 1. What are your theories? Am I the only human on Earth that thinks that Doctor Strange might try to kill Spider-Man? It seems like I am, and it seems like I've been corrected. But hey, maybe I'm not the only one who thought that. Let's talk about Halo, because I think this is going to be maybe a shorter segment. I mean, this is 30 seconds long. Not without excitement. It's 30 seconds long. You don't see who Master Chief is. The big reveals to be had are...
I don't think it should ever be had.
Well, yeah, right. So you could certainly argue that you should never see his face. But the big reveals to be had that are there are A, that the show exists and is coming. B, that Cortana is returning, and it's actually the same voice. I cannot think of her name right now. It might be in an article that I could look up at some point. And then third, the music. Like the music. Yeah,
music is iconic.
It's iconic.
This is not iconic. Whatever this is singing
that was
that's
amazing.
Not.
It's a fabulous rendition. I like the suit. I am having a little bit of a hard time working my head around how they're going to make this show interesting. And that sounds really mean, and it's not intended to be mean. It's just Halo. I like Halo. I've played a number of the Halo games. I went to Halo parties fairly recently, in fact, like immediately pre-pandemic. I think I had one. It's just they're not known for story, and I don't know how a TV show materializes out. It's a great world. It's a great world to build a show in.
Quick,
learn me. I would love it. Learn me something.
So the thing that captivates audiences is relationships, right? So Halo or Master Chief inherently is sort of a lone wolf. He goes in, single person. He's got his squad, sure, that gets airdropped from time to time, but no one really cares about them. No one really pays attention to them. They don't have dialogue.
Cannon fodder, basically.
The key relationship that is going to make or break this show is going to be between Master Chief and Cortana. And so there's going to be a lot of risky, calculated attacks in which she's going to say, no, your odds of survival are 0.00 to 1. Actually, no, that's a good odd.
You think she's going to see
1 to 8 billion? That's a bad odd. And he's going to go, I have to do this to save Halo.
Well, I think, like you said, one of the biggest
save Halo.
One of the biggest.
I can't let that go.
One of the biggest story components, and I mean the more recent games, I would say like 3 and on, they really dig into story more than the first 2 games. I think the second game, they really started to kind of develop a little bit of a story, but then like 3, 4, and 5, they really dug into it a little bit more. But I think the biggest thing is the relationship between Master Chief and Cortana. And so, I mean, I never played the full campaign. I think we got to 2, and then we just pieced out and started playing.
No, that was a playthrough for me. I got up to 3. Stuff.
Well, I know there's some point in time when Cortana, doesn't she turn like evil or something? No? They have some kind of like disagreement where she leaves him, right? No? Okay. Well,
I have no idea. I'm not an authority on this. I played through the first
Her
one
AI gets taken.
and just kind of stopped.
Well, I think digging into the background, like the origins of Master Chief, how he got to like the beginning of the Halo games, the relationship between him and Cortana. I think there's a lot of story they could mine here. And I think I do like, because I think at one point, wasn't like a Halo movie being bandied about.
Yeah, Peter Jackson was at one point attached to it, I remember.
Yeah, I think I like it in TV format more than I do movie format. I think it gives them, kind of like with Game of Thrones, if you really want to like mine these characters and make sure you have a good story, like you have to have a longer format.
And we talked about this with Mass Effect too, right? And granted, totally different game, totally different experience, but there is a vacuum in television like that a show like this could fill, like a Game of Thrones in space. And I don't think that's what they're going for here, but a relationship-driven sci-fi show that has high production value, that isn't afraid of violence, like there's definitely a place for that, and I'm sure it's what Paramount Plus is thinking. But is this that? I don't know. It may be a little bit more focused on the combat. That would seem like a weird choice to me, but I don't know what else they would focus on. I guess the point I was trying to make, and I think you're both right. Probably Master Chief and Cortana, the relationship there is where they would go. It's the only place to go. But like, yeah, I remember from what I do know of the games, which again, I only played through the first campaign, but like Reach is a big deal. Like I imagine we're going to get a lot of Reach flashbacks, because Reach is a flashback before the first game, right? It's like a bunch of folks died there, right? Isn't that the deal with Reach? Mm-hmm. What's the deal with Reach? Do we know? Does anyone know? Should we have a podcast? Like, there's probably fans out there listening to this that are like, these idiots. And I'm sure it's not the first time. I want to say Reach happened pre-Halo, and it's where a lot of folks died. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Techtic, you were going to say something. I don't know where this show's going to go, is my main concern with it.
There's two main things that this show needs to have, and they're going to be both sort of campy. One, there needs to be a sticky grenade that is placed on a grunt when it goes running like a crazy madman. And two, and this is the really important one, Master Chief needs to crouch over top of a fallen enemy.
Yeah,
and like crouch. Not one crouch, multiple crouches. I didn't want to say it, but Illeagle here had said it.
Oh, I'm not afraid to. And yeah, the other thing is the scream when you fall over a ledge. I'm not going to try and imitate it, but there's like one scream that the guy always does. So yeah, whatever. You can do your own impression of it, listeners at home. But yeah, I don't think we have a release date on this yet. I think this is like very early going. It's just like, hey, this is coming. So be on the lookout for that. Halo fans, it's been a good week for you. Again, I think, didn't Infinite like just come out? I've asked that
for the second Infinite time. Just came out, the multiplayer, and I think the solo campaign just dropped.
Big week for Halo fans. Start playing Infinite. Try and save the Halo. Do what Master Chief would do. We're going to take a short break before coming back to talk about MultiVersus. But before we do that, I would be remiss if I did not shout out our fantastic Patreon producer, Mr. Steven Geller. Steven's been supporting us on Patreon at the producer level, the night level, which is our highest of 3 levels of support, for quite a while now. He's been on the show a few times. That's one of the perks he gets. In addition to that guest spot, he also gets input into the weekly game segment. He gets his producer shout out. And of course, he gets access to the monthly secret segment and vlog. There's also a Squire level, which gets you access to the monthly secret segment and vlog. And there's also the pages, the backbone of the Patreon community. They get access to the monthly secret segment. For more of the details on any of those levels of support, you can head over to patreon.com/onlinewarriorspodcast. Get the details there. Thanks to everyone who supports the show, producers, knights, squires, pages, all y'all, helping to keep the lights on, keep us getting this thing going every week into your ears. We will take a short break now to shout out our sponsor, who also helps us keep this thing going, and we'll be back to talk about WB's MultiVersus.
Since 1998, Stamps.com has been an indispensable tool for nearly 1 million businesses. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS shipping right to your computer. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. All you need is a computer and a standard printer. No special supplies or equipment. Within minutes, you're up and running, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send. And you'll get exclusive discounts on postage and shipping from USPS and UPS. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. No traffic and no lines. Cut the confusion out of shipping. With Stamps.com's new Rate Advisor tool, you can compare shipping rates and timelines to easily find the best option. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk. And with our promo code, POD, that's POD, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. Who doesn't want a digital scale, guys? Jump on this. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in POD. That's Stamps.com, promo code POD. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
Hi, I'm Renzo.
I'm Big J.
I'm Dag, and we are Beyond Trek Podcast. Our YouTube and Anchor shows go beyond episode discussion to bring you the latest news, hilarious episode riffs.
Dag, don't forget the deepest of deep-cut Easter eggs and celebrity interactions.
John Billingsley,
Aaron Eisberg,
Doug Jones,
Marina Sirtis.
Not to mention convention reveals and scripted productions that explore the history and future of the Star Trek universe.
Engage us every week.
And thank you for going boldly with Beyond Trek Podcast.
Okay, Warner Brothers, it is a company, and they're getting in on the Super Smash Brothers like fighter game market. They have announced MultiVersus, which, to be clear, it's not me saying MultiVersus, it's multi and then the word versus, like Alien versus Predator. That was the first example I could think of that has the word versus in it. I'm really embarrassed. So MultiVersus is a game that combines characters from shows like Scooby-Doo, Adventure Time, Looney Tunes, Game of Thrones. I'm going to read off a list of characters here in a second, but 1v1, 2v2, 4-player free-for-all matches, free to play, which I feel like is the biggest deal here. It's initially, at least initially, going to be free to play. I'm sure they're going to roll out DLC expansion characters that will be not free to play, but this is a pretty cool idea. A lot of stages, Batcave, Jake and Finn's Tree Fort, again coming from the IP, the mountain of IP that Warner Brothers has. But let me read off the list of characters here. We have Batman, voiced by Kevin Conroy, who I believe is the guy who does the Arkham games. Do we know if he's like the guy? He's like the Batman guy, right?
He's the guy.
He's the guy. Superman, voiced by, I'm not going to read the rest of the voices because Tara Strong is the only one I recognize. Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, Shaggy. Voiced by Matthew Lillard. I know who he is. Bugs Bunny, Arya Stark, Jake the Dog from Adventure Time, Finn the Human, also from Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Garnet from Steven Universe. I may be pronouncing that wrong. It might be Garnet. I've never watched that show. Tom and Jerry, both, as like a team. And Rain Dog, which is an original character for MultiVersus. It's spelled like a combination of reindeer and dog. So presumably it will be a combination of a reindeer and a dog. So yeah, each character has a unique ability set designed to pair dynamically with other characters. So we're talking Smash Bros. Let's not reinvent the wheel, so to speak. But I guess opening question for this. Well, I have two opening questions. I'm going to go with the one that has me more hot and bothered. How does Superman not win every battle?
Because
Superman's
Shaggy's in the game.
Superman is a stupid character, and this is just the latest example of why he's a stupid character.
Shaggy is literally one of the strongest cartoons in the known Warner Brothers universe. I'm not joking.
It is pretty funny that Shaggy is going to be fighting Batman and like Arya Stark. Like it's
you
a cool
obviously
idea.
aren't familiar with the Shaggy memes. If you're not familiar with the Shaggy memes, folks, please do your homework and look up the Shaggy memes. There's like conversations with Superman versus Goku, and Shaggy just comes over and laughs at them because he is the strongest person ever. And I'm not sure where this meme originated, but I'm not against it. The fact that they gave him Super Saiyan-esque abilities, just chef's kiss, I tell you. Just absolutely fantastic that he's in this. Absolutely fantastic that they are embracing the meme.
Because like, what are his abilities? What are his fighting moves in this game?
Eating sandwiches. I could see him like throwing a sandwich or Scooby snacks or like, I feel like this is actually part of a Scooby-Doo cartoon or movie at some point. Like, the super long, sometimes they show him and Scooby like chowing on a massive sandwich. It's probably like a 12-foot long sandwich. I could see him using it as like a baseball bat sort of deal and hitting people with it.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, I don't. Touche. My Shaggy wisdom is not what it used to be, I guess. Although I don't think it ever used to be that much either. This is a really good idea. Like I think it's boring to say that, but like there's so much expansion potential, especially like you're having one character from Game of Thrones, and there's, I don't know, 100 that you could have. They have the entire DC universe to pull from, presumably. It's interesting in the sense that I guess Disney has kind of done this with, like, would you say Disney has done this with Kingdom Hearts? It's not. I don't think that's the same.
No.
Like,
This is not similar to Kingdom Hearts at all. This is more similar to Smash Brothers.
Well, right,
Warner
but I'm saying,
styles.
but has Disney done? Warner Brothers is taking this directly out of Nintendo's playbook, and it's a smart thing to do. Why has Disney not done this?
Because they've unloaded a lot of their cast to Smash.
Are there a lot of Disney characters in Smash Brothers? Are there any?
Sora's in there, for example.
Who?
And Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, well, okay, fair enough. I'm talking like Star Wars characters fighting against Marvel characters. Like, think about everything that Disney has. And then Darth Vader is fighting like Carl Fredricksen from Up. Like, it seems like something that should happen, but I'm sure there's a reason that it hasn't. Or maybe they tried it and they didn't get it quite right or something. I could be not thinking of, what was that one game they had with all the fighters? Was it called Disney Infinity? I think it was called Disney Infinity. Maybe that didn't pan out. I don't know. That's just food for thought, I guess. But this is a great idea.
And I just want to take a moment and name some of the characters that I think are going to be even better to be added to this game, because the second that this was introduced to me, I started feverishly looking up all the different Warner Brothers IP.
Salivating.
Oh my goodness, yes. So, like, do you remember the show Freakazoid?
Yeah, I do actually.
Static Shock would be an awesome one. Static is just a sweet superhero overall. Ozzy and Drix, or Osmosis Jones and Drix, I don't remember his last name. But like, Drix would be an awesome character. He's a tank, he's got a cannon up for an arm. That'd be awesome. Teen Titans, Shaolin Showdown. We all watch that in our Saturday morning cartoons. It just...
Well, so it's interesting one thing you're touching on is Warner Brothers probably sees this, or they should see this, as a way to awaken older IPs and say, here's this character, we're adding this character to this game that's free to play. Oh, do you want to know more about this character? Well, here's a vault of, old Freakazoid episodes, or, oh, we're bringing Freakazoid back. Like, it's potentially a platform, a trampoline, I should say, to jumping or kind of revitalizing
Teen Titans, Thundercats.
IPs.
I mean, it goes on.
Right. No, there's no doubt. Who on the list of existing characters? Choose your fighter.
Shaggy.
Are you choosing Shaggy?
Yeah.
Okay, you're choosing
He's
Shaggy.
the strongest one. He has to be.
Nerdbomber, what do you got? Pick your fighter.
I think I would go with Arya Stark, just because, I don't know, she's got a sword. That's cool. I'm not a big...
Voiced by Maisie Williams, by the way. They got her.
I don't know. I'm just like, this type of a game isn't really in my wheelhouse. I'm actually kind of glad that there's a free-to-play sort of Smash game. I know Brawlhalla existed too, but like, I feel like Techtic is going to be more into this.
Brawlhalla sucked. There, I said it.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I just don't like this type of game in general. So if he has a free-to-play game that I didn't have to pay money to not play, I'm happy with it.
There's no game more frustrating to me than Smash Brothers, because I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you guys both say that because I mopped the floor with both of you in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I suck. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that.
Well, it's like, it's too busy. There's so much going on.
It's so
and
fast.
It's like an eye-tracking thing. I can't do it. Like, I have no idea. And I know, like, they have the little arrow to point where your character is. I just can't.
See, that's just it. You guys were simply introduced to distractions. I was born
You were born in the distractions. Yeah. No, that checks out. As far as my fighter goes, the choice could not be clearer. I don't know how many times I've watched Tom and Jerry, and Tom will like nuke Jerry. Like, it's just, he's gonna have such ridiculous attacks because that's like a Wile E. Coyote situation. It's like everything involves dynamite or something getting smushed under a car. It's just, there's a lot, I think, of really like legitimately deadly attacks. So I'm going with Tom and Jerry. Plus, I love the team up. I think that could be interesting. Or maybe Tom's attacks are all the attacks are Tom is throwing something at Jerry and you happen to be in the line of fire. Like, that's how you attack somebody when you're that character. This is a cool idea. I don't think we have, again, a release date on this. This is going to be coming to Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS5, PS4, and PC via Steam. It is going to be cross-play and cross-progression across all platforms. And No date yet that I can see. Scrolling through the article here, 2022. It just says 2022. So TBD, I guess is what we can say for now. But again, we're sure to get a lot more characters too. The character list may be updated before the game even comes out. So be on the lookout for more on that. That brings us to what are you up to Wednesday? Because it is Wednesday, and I'm sure you are all just clamoring to know what we've been up to. I'm going to spin it over to someone else. I feel like I've been going first a lot, so I'm going to spin it over to Techtic to take us on a walk down Techtic Lane. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, so one of the things that we did over this past week was we played a new couch co-op game, and my God, is it hard. We played Cuphead because we were looking for a couch co-op game to kind of enjoy a little side-scroller screen action, and this is no joke, man. This is like...
Yeah, I've heard this game is like really hard. What do you think there's going to be enjoyable? I've heard people just...
I thought it was just kind of like, it's remotely challenging, and people said the same thing about Metroid Dread, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I can get through it. But this is like the first, like right off the bat, there's just no time for breathing at all, just on you. And you can't even really get any progress if you do it in easy mode. So like, what's the point? So it's just a very unforgiving game, but it's like weirdly addicting. So like we put it down angry and sweaty. I need to say I was definitely perspirating. And now, like a couple days later, I'm like, I have to get back to it. I have to do it again. And it's just very frustrating, but also done very well in a weird sense. So I guess good on you, Cuphead, but screw you, Cuphead, is my review of that.
Right. I mean, it has to be popular for a reason, but people just complaining about how hard it is my main exposure to the game. So I don't know.
The art style, I will give them a lot of credit. So I think one of the things that the game was heralded for before it even came out was like, it was completely hand-drawn. Like every single frame in the game is hand-drawn and like the old cartoon style. And it is like, it's gorgeous. It is very well done. Yeah. But so some of the levels were not as rage-inducing, but then others made me want to throw my controller at a wall, and I haven't had that type of rage at a game in a very long time. That is not my cup of tea. You should try.
You should try Metroid Dread.
Yeah, see, that's
fine. Yeah. It's
not fine. It's not.
I find Metroid, aside from the Emmys, I find that game sort of forgiving. Because it you don't have to start all over. It's right.
Yeah, we've talked about it. It's forgiving in the sense that if you die on a boss, they put you right outside the door to the boss. That's great, but I still don't want to play the boss 600 times. That's just I don't want to live that. I don't want that to be my life. And I assume Cuphead is very similar. It's just you're playing the same thing 100 times.
It's hard.
After the 50th time, I'd be like, I don't need this. Like I'm an adult man. I don't know. I'll find something else to do with my time. Maybe that's mean what I just said. I don't even know who it's mean to. Maybe it's mean to myself, but I don't think I'll be trying this one. It is my takeaway.
Yeah, I struggle with going back to it, but it's like I said, it's a good game as far as art style. It's beautiful. It's well done. It is just give me an easy mode where I can progress through the story. That's all I want.
Right.
And the other thing was we watched I wanted to watch a mind-numbing movie, but by God, did I cross a threshold where it is too numb. And that was Buddy Games. It's not good.
Oh yeah. I watched the trailer for this and I was like, boy, this looks really stupid. So
I thought it was just gonna kind of be like I thought it was just gonna be a buddy comedy, and it was just gonna be, but it was like cringy at parts and borderline annoying. It was fine if you're like, it's like, I'd call it a stoner movie, honestly, is what it would take to really enjoy. So all in all, I've just kind of went through a ringer, I guess, this week.
Couple of non-recommendations. So I'm gonna sandwich myself in between you two. Wouldn't be the first time, and talk about my week. So I finished Metroid Dread first of all. In spite of all the complaining I've done about it, I would definitely recommend it. The story beat at the end that Techtic was waiting so desperately for me to get to, so he could talk to me about it. Yeah, it validates I don't want to say it validates the experience and the torture. It doesn't add any value to that, but it makes the game worth playing. And at the end of the day, and as much as I found it challenging, it is forgiving in the sense that I described, and it's a well-designed experience. So I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's a fan of the franchise. and also anyone who wants to play a fun side scroller. Otherwise, I want to shout out 2 movies, one of which was good, one of which I think was not good. Malignant was good, and to be clear, Malignant. It was free on HBO Max. It's not anymore, but it's a horror movie from James Wan, who was the guy who, what did he do? I think it might have been Insidious was his big movie where he showed up. It was a horror movie. I'm not going to say any more than that because I think it's very fun to figure the plot out yourself. It's one of those movies. You should go in with as little information as possible. And in fact, the trailers kind of make it that way. So you can watch a trailer and it won't tell you very much. Very entertaining, doesn't take itself too seriously, kind of turns into an action movie towards the end. So that was kind of interesting. The other movie, kind of in a horror kick in the past week, we watched a movie called The Empty Man. And that movie was garbage. Garbage might be a little harsh, but it was a horror movie that thought it was more interesting than it was. Let me leave it at that. If you like cult stuff, very cult.
Is that based on
the graphic novel?
Oh,
it's based on a graphic novel called The Empty Man. If you're thinking of The Hollow Man, that's what I was thinking of, and it's not that. It's totally different. Based on a graphic novel, I will say, I bet the graphic novel is really good. But watching the movie, it stars James Badge Dale, who I actually liked. He's the bad guy in Iron Man 3. That was what I knew of him going in. He was good. The movie was not very good. I don't know. You could do worse, but it's also over 2 hours long, so you couldn't do much worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's that for me. Kind of a quiet week heading into Thanksgiving. Should have more next week. Nerdbomber, take us home here.
We watched Dune.
You watched Dune. Okay, so
I have
how
thoughts.
hot is Oscar Isaac? How hot is Oscar Isaac?
He's fine.
Hot, right?
Sure.
He's so Nerdbomber. Come on, love yourself, respect yourself. He's
a good-looking dude. I think I couldn't revel in his attractiveness because I was banging my head internally while we were watching this movie. I am not a fan of Dune. I have read the book. I did not like the book. I thought it was vastly overrated. I thought it was many, many pages of space politics that were boring. The movie was a little bit better than the book, but also a lot of nothing was happening. I think if you muted the movie and watched it without any music, you had many, many scenes, and this is a major criticism for me, many, many scenes where literally nothing happened. Nothing happened at all.
But you get to look at Timothy Chalamet looking forlorn.
I mean, he looks
that doesn't work for you.
No, he's like a baby at this point in terms of how I view him. I don't find
he's an emaciated baby.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he is playing a young character, and so he looks young, and so if I was ogling over him, I would feel uncomfortable myself, I think. And
yeah.
So I don't know. It felt like we spent 2 hours and was it 45 minutes basically setting up the next couple movies, but they did it in such a way where I feel like they probably could have chopped at least 45 minutes out.
There's just going to be one more, I think. There's just going to be a part 2.
Is there? Okay.
There wasn't even like a little bit of satisfying resolution and it was, I agree with Nerdbomber. You could have easily shaved out 4 minutes and had the same quality of content.
And I think when the second movie comes out, you watch them back to back and it'll be a good overarching epic arc. But as a standalone, without even knowing if the second one was going to get greenlit until after it released, I think that's a big time investment. And I think that's why I refused to watch it until they said they were going to greenlight the second one. And also it was not a bad movie. And I feel like this is a very hot take here. It was not a bad movie, but it was too pompous. Took itself way too seriously.
That's a fair criticism. That's a totally fair criticism.
Space politics were a lot of we spent a lot of time talking about space politics that they didn't give me a reason to care about. We initially jumped in I didn't really come out of the movie caring about any of the characters. Oscar Isaac was hot, but they didn't make me care about them. They just jabbered on about space politics, and I was just well, this is just like the book.
So I feel differently, but I think your criticism about it being too pompous is, I don't want to say it's dead on, but it's it is definitely thinks a lot of itself. as movies go.
And some of it is in the music. Like, I give you the challenge. Go back, pick any random scene, mute your television. Without the music, you're just watching a bunch of dust. Like, seriously, there are whole scenes that are only moved by the score, which is great for the score. But, like, there are whole scenes where if there wasn't a very pompous score in the background, you're just looking at a bunch of dust for like 5-minute swaths.
This reminds me of you when you take out his inner monologue. You just
yeah, and like
they've done that with Dexter too. I think same sort of thing.
It's not bad, but like, did you read the book? Did you read the book at all?
No, and I've been told not to, and I probably won't. You're the latest person to tell me not to.
I came into the movie very biased because I know Dune is a classic, but I absolutely freaking hated it. I felt like I'm one of those people where I start a book and I'm compelled to finish it, even if I hate every minute of it. And I've never, like, I have it on my bookshelf, but I wanted to burn it at the time. And so that's probably part of it. I'm a little biased.
But didn't you like watching Timothy Chalamet use his big boy voice? Because that was cool.
Just no. Like, they didn't, let's be real. How much did they do with that in this movie?
A couple things. Basically, his mom was just like, use your big boy voice. And he was like, okay. And that was pretty much it. She used her big boy voice. I also like the part where the old lady who looks like a nun but sadder was like, put your hand in this box. It's going to hurt real bad. And he was like, all right. And then he did it. Yeah, it's like, if you, like, I liked it a lot. Like, I don't want to crap on it because I liked it a lot. But if it's not for you, it's not going to be for you. It takes itself very seriously. It is very space politic-y, so you have to know that going in. I did have a sense of that going in, and you did too, but you didn't want it. Where I was like, I'm open to that.
It's just, I feel like they needed a better balance. And so did the book. Like, the action scenes and when things actually happened, I found myself enjoying the movie. But, okay, so, Zendaya.
They're pretty interspersed. They're pretty far apart.
Zendaya, how many times did I need, and this isn't a spoiler because I'm pretty sure they show it in the freaking trailer. How many times did I need to see the same freaking little flash forward of Zendaya?
How long was her script?
And nothing, like...
Not very.
It was pretty much the same flash forward, and they did it like 6 times. No, like, this is where editing comes into play. Do it a couple times, cap it out at that. We don't need to do this over and over. Like, it's a 2-hour and 40-minute movie. Tighten it up.
Yeah, there are certain people definitely where I'm like, why are you in this? Like, Jason Momoa had a great part.
Agreed.
Dave Bautista, I don't know why he took that role. Why are you taking that role,
probably for the second part.
Probably for the second one, but like, that better be why. Otherwise, your agent better hit the bricks.
Yeah, like, there's just, and I know part of it's because of the source material, but they had too many characters going on, thrown at you right in the beginning without giving you, for me personally, a reason to care, and then you're just politicking, and it's like, well, I don't particularly care about any of you, so if you kill each other, I guess, cool, I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, I mean,
the people
criticism,
and this is a little bit, that's fine. I don't mean to shit on it. This is just, I am very passionate about hating the book, so I think it
does seem that way. It is coming through, definitely. Yeah, which I've heard that from many people. So
the best part of the book was when you start getting away from the, overlord politics and start getting into the desert people or the Fremen. And this entire movie, for the most part, the Fremen are not in. Like, there's a very little portion of the movie where they show up. And then it's like kind of a teaser to wait for part 2. And that was literally the only enjoyable part of the book for me. So I'm just like, I wasted a lot of time on people who ultimately aren't going to be around in the next movie.
And like, relatedly, isn't the book like 1,000 pages?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah. If you want my copy of Dune, I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah, now I definitely. I definitely want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't think I do.
Like, and I'm coming off really harsh because I don't understand why the book gets as much love as it does. But the movie wasn't that bad. It just needed to be tightened up, in my opinion.
People are crazy about the book. There's like some diehard.
Yeah, people get dressed up in like sandworm costumes. It's wild.
If you talk about it and people don't like what you're saying, they'll cut you.
I'm fully prepared for the Dune Mafia to come at me on Twitter. It's fine.
They're already They've already typed the messages by now. You can't stop them. And that doesn't seem like you're trying to.
Get a lot of feedback from this episode between my Spider-Man hot take and also my hot take on Cuphead, and then the Dune.
Nerdbomber, I also like you put your foot in it right away, saying that you didn't like stuffing. I feel like you probably already have messages from that.
Oh, the stuffing squad, those are the worst.
Illegal. You're usually the hot take guy, but I gave you the Thanksgiving holiday off, and I'm gonna shoulder the hot takes this week.
It's very kind of you. I'll be ready to pick it up next week, I'm sure. I don't know with what, but well, hey, Techtic, you're a quiz, right? You're the quiz master this week, so I have to beat Nerdbomber this week. Is what it sounds like. What I don't know what the topic is. This is the first time in a while. I told Techtic, don't tell me.
Because it was such a renowned game, the quiz topic is Cuphead trivia. So you are at a disadvantage.
I would say so, but I've been here before, and if anything, I think the disadvantage tends to be my advantage because I don't know.
You don't overthink it.
I get flippant with my guesses, and it somehow works. So let's see what happens.
So this game was known for its art style. How many frames of art are required for 1 second of animation?
I'll go first. I'll give you a sporting chance.
Very kind of you.
Per second, well, can't be more than 60, but I think it's less than that. I'm going to say 40.
Okay, so the game, I think, runs at 60 frames per second. I'm going to say 60. That feels a little on the nose. Maybe it runs at 30. I'm going to stick with 60.
So I like that you guys picked the refresh rate of a computer monitor, which is 60 hertz. That was kind of a well-educated guess. But you both busted the number of frames of art required for 1 second of animation in this game was 24.
Okay, so they were probably aiming to run for closer to 30 frames per second.
Well, no, 24 is like old-time TVs, I think, had 24.
Was so based on the art style of the game.
Right.
God bless it. All right, fair enough. Well, I'll take double zeros after the first question.
In what year was Cuphead released?
Okay. This was on Xbox One initially. It wasn't launch year, but it was close to it. I'm going to say 2014.
2016.
So Illeagle gets it.
Yeah, I had 2016 in my head I don't know why, I just felt very strongly about that.
It was released September 27th, 2017.
Darn it.
Okay, so what is the ratio of boss fights to platforming levels? And for Price is Right rules, this will apply to the number of boss fight percentage, if that makes sense.
It does. So you're looking for a percentage of what percent of the game is boss fights. Is that fair to say?
Yes, but I want the ratio to make sure that you can subtract by 1.
What? I don't like that.
The ratio?
No, let's just do the percentage, please.
I'm gonna give you a percentage, and you can do the math. How about that?
Fine.
8%.
8% boss fights.
Okay.
8% boss fights
to 92% platforming levels.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I'm going to come in, and I know this is lowballing it, but I know it's definitely more than 8%. I'm going to say it's 30%, but I know it's way higher than that.
Yeah, the whole game design is based on exclusively boss fights. The ratio is 75-25 boss fights to platforming.
And I mean,
that's exactly the kind of thing I didn't know.
Because you didn't
I just didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, school of hard knocks. I accept the outcome. Let's continue.
All right, so we're tied up with the next question being, what is the Xbox One Metacritic score for Cuphead?
This is very high. It's a very high score. I don't go first.
Yeah, it's me. I'm going to give it a 93%.
That's a good answer. 96. People love this. 96.
So you both busted. Which, by the way, so Xbox One had a Metacritic score of 87, and PC actually had an Xbox score of 89. But you were just ever so slightly too high. So we're still tied up. We have one question left.
This game was lauded as the best of all time.
Okay, well, just
that's what I thought too. Yeah, neither of us are very calm. Okay, so
the Metacritic folks said, and I quote, "This game is too hard."
Hey, I'm sorry, dude, riled me up. I've got that energy now.
They didn't say that. That was my quote.
That's you saying it. Are we? Is this a text-in situation for the final question, or?
Wait. Is this the tiebreaker right now?
I mean, it is, but it's also the fifth question. This
is the last question.
If you guys want to text, you can text.
I mean, I'm at a
we're going to call this a
disadvantage.
question. I'm going to ask you a question.
Disadvantage.
In the first 2 weeks of release, how many copies of Cuphead were sold?
How many copies?
All time, or was it a time?
2 weeks.
2
in
weeks?
The first 2 weeks.
2 weeks of release.
You have my answer, Techtic.
Nerdbomber hits the nail on the head.
Really?
Yes. So Illeagle guessed 10 million. Nerdbomber guessed 1 million. It's 1 million copies. It was a scooch over 1 million.
Okay, so I kind of overshot it. So I concede. Well done. This makes sense for once. I have no idea about this game, and I feel like that came through, at least in one question. So, Nerdbomber, that's huge for you. That puts you back in second place, because now you are at 12-11. Techtic is at 10-10, and I dropped to 16-4. Absolutely devastating for me. And I will play again next week. So, Techtic, you will get your chance to, I don't know, I guess tie Nerdbomber in the records again. I don't know what we're going to do. This might get so close, we have to figure out how we're even going to do the standings. If you guys have the same record, well, no, if you have the same win percentage, but one of you has played more games, who wins? Because I think that's the territory that we're getting.
Percentage based, in my opinion.
Right, but if we're tied, is what he's saying.
If you have the same percentage, that might not even be possible. I don't know.
You have to normalize it about percentage. You have to, because if
the percentage is tied, is what he's saying. If the percentage
is the same, is what I'm saying.
But you can't do it based on who has more wins, because that's unfair to the other person. Because
I'm not saying who has more wins.
He's basically asking, what do we do in that scenario?
Right. I'm saying, what do we do?
You keep going.
Every percentage comes
you
first.
You keep hosting until we...
Till the end of time.
Okay. Yeah, we do a sudden death round. That's actually not a bad idea. Either way, we'll figure it out in post. We thank you all for joining us here in is this the final November episode? I think next Wednesday is December 1st. In any case, thank you all for joining us. Feel free to hit us up on the Patreon already described, all our Twitter handles already described. Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you there. And have a great holiday, and we'll see you all next week.